Good point for Oxford, who continue to defy logic by acquitting themselves well against the better teams. Bit of a panto, really. Dave Regis pocketing his 10th of the season when Phil Whitehead and Matt Elliott were like ships that pass in the night. Oxford were out of it until Gordon Marshall contributed his piece of slapstick. As though mesmerised by the build-up, Marshall misjudged Joey Beecham's shot and made sure it found the target. Outstanding result from the bottom club, which came so close to knocking Spurs out of the FA Cup a few days ago. If you expected to hear that Ken Charlery stole the show again, well, you'd be wrong. This was Tony Adcock's day. Peterborough's first away win of the season should certainly inspire them to mount a spirited fight against relegation now. Portsmouth were finished when Adcock smote the second with supreme confidence after Brissett had picked him out. Next match, Birmingham City at home, a chance to get off the bottom, perhaps. Away wins aren't a speciality of counties either, but they took advantage of a City side apparently fazed by their FA Cup heroics against Liverpool. Andy Legg enjoying that beat you to it feeling. And let's enjoy Gary Lund's most creative moment. Seemed to be heading nowhere, but he eventually produced a bunker shot of a cross which suited Tony Agana down to the ground. Relegation's looming for Barry Fry, despite his shopping sprees and boundless bonhomie. He admitted the Blues blew it. Still, it interrupted a shocking run of 2 league defeats. And, dare I mention it, that shambles against the carpet town. Equally grim news from the Hawthorns, where there's no money for team strengthening. It's all been spent on ground improvements. The upshot is that Albion have taken a dismal 2 points out of 21 since Christmas, and at this rate they could have the best stadium in the second division. Peterborough, West Brom and Birmingham will be sorry to hear that Watford are climbing out of trouble. Although Alan Moore, the promising young Dubliner, gave Middlesbrough the lead, that man Paul Furlong confirmed that he has the Midas touch just now with a second-half equaliser. Another club pulling itself out of trouble is Luton, who are soaring towards mid-table after shattering Derby's optimism. What a piercing ball to Paul Telfer on the stroke of half-time. If you want to know what sort of game it was, well, it took Michael Forsyth to head Derby's equaliser. I bet he doesn't do that in practice very often. Luton's winner was scored by Scott Oates, who was once with Leicester City. When they see this, they'll wonder why on earth they let him go. Charlton go back to second place after that frustrating defeat at Leicester. John Robinson looked more than a little relieved after this, don't you think? Mark Robson, the midfielder come winger who impressed us so much on Central Match Live last Sunday, fittingly scored the second with Barnsley bedazzled. A player to watch, I think, and he's got a useful surname. Barnsley slipped to bottom but won, but went out with a bit of a bang when Andy Payton caught the Charlton defence dozing 10 minutes from the end.
The manager of the month for December had seen his side lose all 3 of their games in January, and Leicester took more of the shine off the new silverware inside 10 minutes. Steve Thompson strikes a good free kick. The deflection off Gareth Southgate made that one unstoppable. And for the next half hour, the heavy pitch and the sagging confidence of the Crystal Palace attack made an equaliser look unlikely. Chris Armstrong would have done better with this sort of chance before Christmas. What did look more promising was the direct route to Stewart, playing up alongside Armstrong, and 8 minutes before half-time, he wins a header, and Chris Coleman's half-volley levels things up. It was Crystal Palace's first goal in '94, and suddenly there was more belief about their play, especially with Stewart putting himself around up front. Smith wanted more aggression, and that's what he got. If Leicester didn't like it, they were finding the rest of the Crystal Palace attack more and more difficult to deal with. Stewart made another impression, but Poole saved from Simon Roger and then somehow from Armstrong. 2 minutes later, Leicester couldn't handle Coleman's aerial presence. He hit the bar. Armstrong tried again, but he couldn't get past Poole either. And Leicester looked like getting the point they'd made their priority until, with 6 minutes left, Dean Gordon's pass was just right. This time Armstrong was too quick for Poole, and Palace were heading back to the top.